If you love the Palace of Illusions, then these next 5 books are going to change the way you see the epics. If you love stories from a different perspective, from a perspective of a strong, powerful woman, inspired by Indian epics especially, then you are in the right place. Today, I am going to recommend 5 incredible books by the authors like Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni and Kavita Kane, who have brought the female voices to the forefront. First book you should read is The Forest of Enchantment by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni herself. It's a story of Sita, but in her own voice. It's emotional, it's powerful, it's strong, it shows you strength of Sita in a way we rarely have been seeing her, and it's so refreshing to read this. I will just read the blurb for you. What occurred when I was alone in the darkness under the sorrow tree? You don't know. You don't know my despair. You don't even know my exhilaration, how it felt. First in the forest, then in Ayodhya, when I was the most beloved woman in creation. The Ramayana, one of the world's greatest epics, is also a tragic love story. In this brilliant retelling, Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni places Sita at the center of the novel. This is Sita's version. The Forest of Enchantments is equally a very human story of some of the other women in the epic, often misunderstood and relegated to the margins: Kekei, Srumpnakha, and Mandodari. A powerful comment on duty, betrayal, infidelity, and honor. It is about women's struggle to retain autonomy in a world that privileges men, as Chitra transforms an ancient story into a gripping, contemporary battle of wills. While the Ramayana resonates even today, she makes it more relevant than ever in the underlying question in the novel: how should women be treated by their loved ones? What are their rights in a relationship? When does a woman need to stand up and say, enough? The next one we are picking up is Sita'sSister, as the name suggests. This story is about Urmila, Sita's sister, Lakshman's wife. A character often forgotten, a character we did not hear about anything, a character who made an immense sacrifice for love, devotion, and loyalty and was overlooked. Marriage did not hold much interest for Urmila, but it was a social discipline she would have to conform to. She would rather seek knowledge instead of a suitor. It is a story of Urmila, Sita's sister, and one of the most overlooked characters in the epic. As Sita prepares to go into exile, her younger sisters stay on in the doomed palace in Ayodhya. Their smiles, hopes, and joys wiped away in a single stroke. But one woman of immense strength and conviction stands out in the tableau of tears and tragedy: Urmila, whose husband Lakshman has chosen to accompany his brother Ram to the forest. She could have insisted on joining Lakshman, as did Sita with Ram, but she did not. Why did she agree to be left behind in the palace, waiting for her husband for 14 painfully long years? Find out in Sita'sSister, an utterly absorbing read in which Urmila tells her story. Moving on to the third one is Kavita Kane's Lanka's Princess, story of Supnakha, a character I never thought, or I think I never wanted even to know about. But this book changes the way you see it. You realize that there were other characters and there will be other perspectives to see one's story, right? It's bold, it's layered, and it's just gives you depth of how misunderstood a character can be, what were the reasons or what could be the reasons. Surpanakha, Ravan's infamous sister, ugly and untamed, brutal and brazen. This is how she's commonly perceived. One whose nose was sliced off by an angry Lakshman, and the one who started a war. But was she really just a perpetrator of war? Or was she a victim? Was she Lanka's princess? Or was she the reason of its destruction? Sumpnakha, meaning the woman as hard as nails, was born as Meenakshi, the one with beautiful fish shaped eyes, growing up in the shadows of her brothers who were destined to win wars, fame, and prestige. She indeed charts up a path filled with misery and revenge. Accused of manipulating events between Ram and Ravan, which culminated into a bloody war and annihilation of her family, Supnakha is often the most misunderstood character in the Ramayana. Kavita Kane's Lanka's Princess tells the story from the vantage of this woman, more hated than hateful. The next one on my list is Kekai by Vaishnavi Patel. We are switching authors here. So it's a story of Kekai, as the name suggests, often seen as a villain, but was she really one? We see a story about choices, sheer attraction of power, and how history judges women maybe a little too hard. I was born on the full moon under an auspicious constellation, the holiest of positions. Much good it did me. So begins Kekai's story. The only daughter of kingdom of Kekaya, she is raised on tales about the might and benevolence of the gods, how they churned the vast ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they vanquish evil and ensure the land of Bharat prospers, and how they offer powerful boons to the worthy. Yet she watches as her father unceremoniously banishes her mother, listens as her own worth is reduced to marriage alliance she can secure, and when she calls upon the gods for help, they never seem to hear. Desperate for independence, she turns to the text she once read with her mother and discovers a magic that is her own. With it, Kekai transforms herself from an overlooked princess into a warrior, diplomat, and most favored queen. But as the evil from her childhood stories threatens the cosmic order, the path she has forged clashes with the destiny the god have chosen for her family, and Kekai must decide if resistance is worth the destruction it will wreak, and what legacy she intends to leave behind. The unforgettable tale of a woman determined to leave her mark in the world gods and men dictate the shape of things to come. So, reeling back into the Mahabharata line, as all the above four were inspired by the Ramayana. Now, let's end it on a Mahabharata character, Karna's wife, the outcast's queen by Kavita Kane. This is a story of Karna through his wife Urvi, a very misunderstood character, a character whose entire personality, whose entire value system, his struggles were all washed away by just one moment of bad judgment, and that's how history leaves you, right? Born out of a wedlock to Kunti and Surya, the sun god, Karna is abandoned by his mother at birth. He deserves the fate of a prince, but is adopted by a lowly charioteer and becomes one of himself. Urvi, a Kshatriya princess, chooses him over Arjun at her Swamvar, and there is a marriage of great social contrast. Urvi must bring to bear all her love for Karna and her formidable intelligence to be accepted by his family. She eventually becomes Karna's mainstay, counseling and guiding him. However, his blind allegiance to Duryodhana, the eventual cause of his downfall, is beyond her power to change. Karna's wife, told from Urvi's point of view, unfolds against the backdrop of the epic struggle between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Lyrical and inventive, it is a moving story of love against all odds. Before ending this video, let me give you a little brief of the Palace of Illusion as well, for those of whom you have not read it yet. I think everyone should read this. It is set in the Mahabharata time period. It is from the point of view of Draupadi. It is so pure. It has so much emotion that it just leaves you in awe. Be taken back to a time that is half history, half myth, and wholly magical. First published in 2008, Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's The Palace of Illusions has received wide acclaim from giving a woman's take on the timeless tale that is the Mahabharata. Narrated by Panchali, wife of the five Pandava brothers, the novel traces her life from a fiery birth and lonely childhood, where her beloved brother is her only true companion. Through her complicated friendship with the enigmatic Krishna, to marriage, motherhood, and her secret attraction to a mysterious man who is her husband's most dangerous enemy. Just a heads up, guys, all these books come under fiction because they are not written as a part of the Indian epics. These are a take from the author's side on these epics from a woman's perspective. So, I want to add a bonus book in this, that is Sirs by Madeline Miller. Okay, this one is not related to Indian epic. It is from a Greek mythology. And you know what? This is a beautifully written book. A character who suffers from loneliness, who was cheated, betrayed, yet survived, and has accomplished almost everything she wanted to do. In the house of Helios, god of sun, the mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. Circe is strange, not powerful and terrible like her father, nor gorgeous and mercenary like her mother, but she has a dark power of her own, witchcraft. When Circe's gift threatens the gods, she is banished to the island of Aiaia, where she hones her occult craft, casting spells, gathering strange herbs, and taming wild beasts. Yet a woman who stands alone cannot live in peace for long, and among her island's guests is an unexpected visitor, mortal Odysseus, for whom Circe will risk everything. Circe's tale is a vivid epic of family rivalry, love, and loss, the inextinguishable song of women burning hot and bright in the darkness of a man's world. If you have read any of these, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't, let me know which one are you adding to your TBR next. And for more such book recommendations, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. Good night.